It's one thing to meet someone out of this world. Peggy Whitson has spent more than a year out of our world. She's been in space. The Iowa native has spent 376 total days in space between her 2 missions with the International Space Station. Today's Frontier, Marion, to celebrate women in space and Iowa's contribution to the space program. TV9's Brady Smith has more.
It's a long trip from Beaconsfield, Iowa to the International Space Station, but Peggy Whitson made the journey.
So I was the first U.S. astronaut who was going to actually go from never flying in space to flying a long-duration mission.
Whitson is the only active astronaut from Iowa and holds the women's record for most time in space at 377 days and for most spacewalks. She was also the first female commander of the International Space Station. At the age of 9, she knew space travel was in her future.
I really am one of those kids that watched the first moon landing and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walking on the moon.
It's been 50 years since the first woman went into space, and one Apollo program administrator says the space program has advanced light years since then.
The talk of going to Mars and the various things they found out about that possibility.
He's impressed that today's technology lets us explore faraway worlds without ever setting foot on them.
Spectacular stuff.
Whitson says you can't really beat the view from the International Space Station.
I was lucky enough to be able to do some spacewalks on both of my missions.
And hope she'll get to enjoy it again.
The biggest bang for the buck is actually living and working in space.
In Cedar Rapids, Brady Smith, KCRG TV9 News.
Thank you, Brady. Whitson also served from 2009 to 2012 as the NASA chief astronaut. That's a senior leadership position that only 13 astronauts have ever held, including Alan Shepard, the first American in space back in 1961. A new exhibit in Cedar Rapids mixes the finesse of modern art and the grit of Iowa's industrial history. Back in 1943, Howard Hall, a former Bruce Moore resident and industrialist, hired Torkel Korling to take photos to show up the city's manufacturing prowess. Now, thanks to Bruce Moore and Gallery Bow, these images are on display. KCRG TV9's Ben Kaplan has the story.
These are images from Torkel Korling, a Swedish art photographer that was brought in by Howard Hall, former resident of Bruce Moore Mansion and owner of Iowa Steel, Iowa Iron, Iowa Manufacturing. Howard wanted a look in 1943 to publicize his efforts as the post-war push was coming, and he wanted something beyond just a standard industrial look. So he got an art photographer who did some pretty outrageous stuff. You can see the precision in the people's faces as they're doing the precision work. See the tense muscles. The 2 that I like best are the ones that in the foundry and the use of sunlight coming through the windows as they're pouring, heating and pouring steel into the molds. The guy captured it. When you're good, you're good. And he was good.
Iowa Manufacturing and Iowa Steel and Iron. The Images of Torkel Korling is on display at Gallery Bow. That's inside First Class Finds at the corner of 3rd Street and 14th Avenue Southeast. Prints are available of all the photographs. They're $25 each. The gallery runs through August 20th.
Our new guys actually played their butts off. They played excellent.
Of course, there are plenty about football, soccer, wrestling, basketball around these parts, but other sports also looking to leave another footprint, cleat print, muddy or otherwise. Here, many men of many ages and fear factors and pain thresholds are coming together to essentially hurt each other, but also stay in shape and try to win, all part of rugby here in eastern Iowa. Today, the Cedar Rapids Headhunters took on the Iowa City Ducks. Yes, the Ducks. TV9's Ben Kaplan captures the sound and the glory.
It's a very aggressive sport.
You have to play both offense and defense, not like you would in football. You have to be able to tackle and you have to be able to run the ball too.
Obviously, you play this game for 80 minutes, you're gonna be sore.
Way to be aggressive and still have fun and play. Stay active outside of college or high school. So just having a good time with it.
There's 15 players. We're divided basically into a pack and backs. The pack are involved in the scrum, and the backs do a lot of the running. But we're all tackling, we're all rucking, we're all ball carriers.
Okay, a scrum is with 8 men on each side of the ball. They're going to crouch. They're going to push each other. One of the players on the team is going to throw the ball into the center of the scrum. After they come together, and it's the team's job who are together to use their feet to kick the ball out.
Well, at least what we showed today, we got a lot of new guys on it. I think 4 or 5 guys played their first game of rugby today.
Played hockey my whole life and then decided to play rugby, so we'll see what happens.
This is my 5th year playing. Started my 5th year, and this is my 2nd game I've ever captained.
Well, as far as age difference, I'm the oldest. The guy who plays lock behind me, I'm the same age as his mother. So yeah, we got a pretty wide range of ages.
Ben Kaplan with that. The Iowa City team did win over the Headhunters 17-10 a few years ago. This reporter was asked to go out there, but they would not agree to not touch the hair or the face.